Ever feel like you're the only one with questions about life? Well, you're not alone.
Welcome to People in the Room here on PAL Radio 96.9 FM. Every Friday at 11 a.m. where we dive into the topics that matter most to you. We are talking about what is on your mind, from faith to friendships, work to wellness.
It's real talk, real faith, and real answers. You're not just listening, you're part of the conversation.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of People in the Room, a podcast here on PAL Radio 96.9 FM. Karibu sana to this week. Yep. This new week. It's a great week. It's probably the last
week of the month.
Yeah, or like last days of the month, right?
Yeah.
Which feel both amazing and very stretching, if you ask me. But thank you for joining us this day or this episode. We have amazing people in the room.
Yeah.
And I want them to introduce themselves. Where do we want to start? Let's start with you, babes.
Hey guys.
Hi.
My name is Maureen Njuguna.
You know, you need to emphasize that it's Maureen.
It's Maureen.
Like not Maureen, some Maureen.
Ukisema Maureen in a sound weird.
Yeah, so it's like Maureen.
It's Maureen.
Yeah, I love when people like emphasize how they want their names pronounced. Hey, and the gentleman in the room today,
DJ Ben.
That's what's up.
Itaje tu vile utataka.
DJ Ben. That's what's up. Thank you guys very much for being the people in the room this episode.
Okay.
Now today we want to talk about something very, very interesting, something we are all navigating, and that's friendships in our adulthood. Friendships in adulthood is not the same as like when you were young.
Childhood.
Where you would just be like, you have all the time. You guys will play. It was so effortless.
Life is not complicated.
It was so smooth.
Right. Yeah. I miss friendships in childhood. They didn't feel like a lot. They didn't feel like so complex and everything.
Nope.
And that's what I want us to discuss, because let me tell you, it's either you find now that your friendships are not thriving, or you're not very close, or that there's just some distance that is created between you and your friends as you grow up, or that you are compromising too much, to try and keep them. And it's now becoming like work
to
fit in and to keep those friendships. So we'll just talk about everything, navigating adulthood friendships, and you can share your thoughts on 0702 969 969 utuambie. But maybe just to get an overview first of all from both of you, do you think that friendships in your adulthood are just difficult and
complicated?
Are they?
Oh my God.
They are. Well, according to me, they are complicated.
In what sense?
But not in most cases. In all cases, there are some cases where when you are adulting, shida like tukiwa wadogo, you hauna majukumu, you are just free, you are not exposed to tax, relationship, relationship and whatever. So 20 years later, you have to pay the rent, you have to you have a job, inafaa ulipe, like you budget for the job, you have a girlfriend. So the way you will relate with that friend of yours who you are just playing playing 24/7. Right now antaka kuongea na girlfriend, antaka kwenda sijui wapi, antaka kwenda job. So like time kwanza is limited. Maybe yako na stress or whatever. So things have changed. The way you will talk to him, ama the time you will spend with him or her,
different. The same. You're right. Maureen, what do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say they're all complicated, because it highly depends on the specific individuals. But what I can say is that adult friendships are really affected by a whole lot of things. When we were children, there were no such things as social anxiety. I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. Ulikuwa tu unaongea tu. Ukipata mtu, you'll just make friends. You don't even know their names, but you're already vibing. But right now, over time, through experiences and also the things that we are exposed to as we grow up, you tend to find that people's now personalities begin to take a certain shape, a certain form. So then unapata, there are people who know how to express themselves, others don't know how to, others can't relate with others who cannot express themselves. Like it's a whole load of things, a whole load. And I think the keyword to all of this is just to slow down. Slow down. And perhaps maybe go back to those days. If we could bring our childhood days sahi, I think tungekuwa mbali sana.
For sure. What I'm thinking right now in my head is whether it's actually difficult to make friendships or to make friends in your adulthood. I've seen that online from so many people that they're finding a difficult time making friends. And I would want to know why, is that true? Or maybe from your experiences and why that would be the case. Because right now as an adult, you are very exposed. You are free to go to so many places. At home, kulikuwa na hiyo restriction. It's either the children around your home or at school. Right now, you can go to events. You can go to networking. You can. There's so many activities in this Nairobi. You know, so many places you can make friends. Then why is it that people are finding it difficult to like make friends? I
think, according to my opinion, life is a journey. When you live, you learn. So there are so many things that we have learned. Like, for example, what Maureen has said about social anxiety. You are starting now to realize that vile nilikuwa nasahau vitu, it's a certain disorder. Vile nilikuwa nafanya nini is a certain. So we have learned so many things about ourselves. That were the friends who we want right now, we want them also to embrace, like they have to embrace our disorders, our shidas, our nini. So that filter, you kuweka filter, like for example, if I have social anxiety, I don't want someone who is like out there,
like outgoing,
jumping or something.
Unataka someone like you.
Taka tu mtu ako very settled. Tukienda maybe out ako ataki vitu story mob. Si ule jamaa tukifika tao asalimie kwanza watu wote.
Unasimama every 2 seconds.
So there are so many filters that we have that every friend that we want to make lazima apitie.
I like that thought. That's true, actually. I think there's just we are demanding, and maybe this is debatable, but maybe we are demanding too much of the friends we actually want. So we end up not making any.
Without realizing that we can't really get the perfect definition of what we want. Even in marriage, unapatanga msaithi, I want this kind of person, I want this kind of person, akwevi. But the truth of the matter is that you can't get exactly what you want. Some things you have to like form them in people, maybe tell them pick from your point of communicate, sema spendi hii. And I think that really helps us grow. But about watu ku struggle to make friends, mimi si relate because
you make friends very easily. How does that work for you, or how does that come about? Like, is it just your personality that helps you attract friends, or are you intentional about, I'll go somewhere and I'll speak to 5 people and I'll make 3 out of those 5 people my friends?
Well, it's never really predetermined. Mi nakwanga tu mimi. I'm just me. I love talking and I really hate quiet spaces. Mi sizi kana msee and then tumenyamaziana tu. I'll be like, hi, what's your name? What do you... So I like this. Nini. Yeah, and it really takes me a short time. And I think what has helped me with that is first of all, loving myself. Embracing myself, knowing that this is the kind of person that I am. And also appreciating other people. If you're an introvert, I will know how to relate with you. If you're an extrovert, I also know how to relate with you. So me, don't like have that specific kind of caliber of people that I want. We can talk to anyone. Yes, but be sure I will preach the gospel somewhere in between.
In between there somewhere. You will just sprinkle it. I love that. Now I'm thinking about, and then maybe I'd want to know, for starters, where the friends that you have now, where did you meet, or where do you meet most of these friends? Because I'm trying to think of, right now, I don't think many of us are friends with people we were with in high school, for example, or college, university, or whatever. I'm not sure about that. But like, is it work? Is that where we are making most of our friends from? Is it church? Is it, where are we making friends from? Or is it like social events and stuff like that?
There are so many weird
places you've made friends.
Making friends. But I think it's like when you transition from your home, you make friends there. You go to primary school, you meet another friends. Some of the ones of your home, maybe alihama or whatever. some of them wanakuwa dropped off. You pick new friends. I think it also depends on your environment.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
if you met in high school,
Yeah.
we knew each other because we were just desk mates, or
Yeah.
we were bed mates or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you'll find that we don't have many things to share in common. We just have ile to small, like ulitandika bed.
Small talk.
Like there's nothing
Yeah.
above hapo.
Yeah.
So when tukiachana in high school, hatuna hiyo
That's it.
bed.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah. It's
it's just
that's
utapata
the
tu
friendship guys.
you're just talking hi umekuwa aje, nimekuwa fiti.
Yeah.
Hakuna story mob.
Okay.
But sasa you'll find that one guy, maybe you are in soccer or whatever, then mmemaliza shule. You know you'll find each other like in tournaments or whatever.
Yeah.
So that friendship will last. Alafu in workplaces also, I think most of the friendship ni how many things you have in common.
Oh, you would say
Yeah,
that's what
I think-
determines a strong friendship.
Yes.
The more things in common we have, the more likely we are to
Yep.
be close friends.
Yep.
That's an interesting perspective. What do you think, Maureen?
Well, I pretty much agree with
Okay,
Ben
okay.
on the environment. Yeah, uko shule, you'll make friends in school. When you're in another space, you'll make friends there. But I think, we all know that life is inclusive of times and seasons.
Yeah.
So I guess even friends wanakwanga inclusive kwa your perspective.
Yeah.
That they are seasonal friends and they
Yeah.
are now long-term friendships.
Yeah.
But again, it highly depends on whether it was written in heaven.
Yeah.
Whether you people
Yeah.
you
If we were
will
to-
know
it
each
was
other.
meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. If it was meant to be, it will be.
I don't know if I don't know. I get what you're saying, but I feel like for me, and this is just from personal life, I've found friendships to just need intentionality.
True.
It's
True.
not that I mean, personally, currently, my closest friends are friends I made in campus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think those are the most solid ones. And those are the people who I feel like even after transitioning from Campo, Nini, we still were intentional enough,
True.
you know, to keep the friendship. So I think for me, one of the hacks, one of the things I'm seeing as a way to navigate adult friendships or
Yeah.
friendships in adulthood is being intentional. Otherwise, we'll never have time to meet up. We'll never have time to have that call. Watu wako busy.
Yeah.
We're living different lives. We're in different seasons. Kuna moja anaweza kuwa mi nimepata job, mwingine hana.
Yeah.
So huyu mwenye akona job ako always busy, and it could feel to the other person who doesn't have a job yet that you're not making the time.
time.
But
Yeah.
they have all the time in the world.
True.
You know, so I think there's an intentionality that requires us to have to make friendships. Yeah, I think that's what I'd say.
To make and to sustain.
Sustain
friendships.
Yeah.
Making friends is easy.
easy.
But now
Sustaining
sustaining
them.
it.
Yeah.
I remember there's one group I was added, Kitambo, when WhatsApp groups was a
Was a thing, yeah.
I was added in a certain group. I don't know who even added me. I sijui kama aliguess number or whatever. I
Okay.
didn't knew even one person in
Okay.
that group. So I met with maybe say three, which we were so close with each other, and then we were texting each other on inbox or whatever. Then there's one of the friends which I don't know, I never talked to him again. Sijui conversation yetu ilishaje. I don't know.
But it happened
we were
too.
like chatting all the day.
Yeah.
But sijui ilihappen aje. Then conversation ilisha hivyo.
Yeah.
Sijui pali yako saizi and whatever. And
Yeah.
then there are two guys which we usually like, we are now like best friends with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it happens so different.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. And like you said, Maureen, seasons and times and everything.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it also depends on, there's that natural, what people say, falling out. There's a natural falling out
Yeah,
of
that
friendships.
comes.
Amkukoseana, amkufanya nini. Like
Yeah.
it was
Then
it's
not
not beefing, we're not beefing, it's just a
Yeah.
natural fallout. But I also feel like if you're intentional enough, you can keep that friendship. But there's also so much more to consider.
Yeah.
I think there's so much grace that is required in friendships. So much. Oh my God.
Right.
I don't know if you guys what do you think about these people who are like for me si mind if we don't talk every other day, hata tukiongea once a month ama once in 2 months, it's okay, I still know you're my friend and I am not What do you think about that? I think I've seen that meme a lot online. You know, like it's okay if we don't talk for even a month, but we're still friends. We, you know, like, what do you think about that?
Actions speak louder than words.
Right.
They speak louder than words.
So for you, would you, or in your friendships, you prefer that you are constantly talking?
Constantly talking.
Okay.
Not necessarily like every day,
yeah.
but I still have to see like a pattern of consistency.
Yeah.
Like I need to see some effort from you. Sasa ukiniambia eti we can stay for like a month without talking.
Yeah.
It means that your heart is not even there.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
It's not, you're not all in.
Yeah.
You're like,
I get you.
Yeah.
But there are people who feel like consistency is not a requirement for them in their friendships. Because it's not, I think for them, it's like, it's not a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
So like, it's like consistency is not a requirement. Do you think it's a requirement in friendships?
I don't think. Mostly in like sissy boy child, it's very difficult to like talk. See kama girl child. Girl child, they will talk and call each other babes and whatever.
Yes, every day.
True.
But for us, it's like for a week, then we text, hi, nyaje bro, umetulia, niko fiti, nini, then we give the updates of the week and what has happened.
Yeah.
Then silence.
Okay.
For another maybe 3 days or whatever.
That's an interesting.
According to me, once a month is too much.
Yeah.
It's too low for a friend.
Effort.
Yeah, for effort. It's very low.
Yeah.
I think maybe once in a week. Can
Okay.
be better, or twice in a week or whatever. But there is no consistency. Itafika time, tuseme, for example, if you guys are deep into soccer, into football, then there's a season where
Time ya
kuna
IPL,
fixture,
mnaongea kila weekend.
time.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you're catching up.
Wakienda break,
Mnanyamaza.
The time when your
But that's
girlfriends
good.
wekwa kando.
Exactly, right? Now you go back to your girlfriend. Now that IPL imeisha.
Please go back.
Oh God. But that's an interesting maybe thing to think about even. Like whether consistency is a requirement for you. Because it also depends. Maybe you don't mind. There are people who don't mind. So you'll have other friends who don't mind. But I feel like that could, if you're not on the same page on that, one person would feel like you're not making the effort.
True.
And the other person is like, but me, I'm cool. Like, say I'll call you like whenever, you know. So I think that's another thing to consider. So friendships in adulthood require a lot. And the other thing maybe I'd want to maybe discuss even as we wrap up is the idea of being in different seasons. And let me talk about financial seasons. Let me be that specific. Because you'll not always all be at the same level financially in friendships.
True.
And let me tell you, the way I've had people talk about money being the reason why their friendship ended, it's crazy. Whether it's you guys owed each other money, ama mlikopana do mjalipa, ama it's you guys are, maybe one person can afford going out for brunches every Saturday, you can't, ama it's there's a lifestyle, one person or the other person is like these things that revolve around money and where you're at financially, I think should be discussed in friendships because people don't want to talk about it, but it's affecting friendships.
A lot.
You know, have you lost a friend because of money or anything regarding finances?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Especially as a lady.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the era of having a skincare routine, having to
Maintenance week.
Pinterest inspired outfits and whatnot.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up. And I think the fear of people actually, or rather the fear of being rejected, the fear of being cast out, the fear of being put aside because you're not matching up to a certain lifestyle is what drives the decisions of most people. And they forget that they have to be okay with themselves. That sometimes saying no is good. Is good. Okay. And for example, in a group setup, sometimes saying no will actually set another person free. Because it could be that you're not the only one who is struggling. There's another person struggling in that group. So just be confident in who you are and understand the season you're in, and like don't see it as a bad thing, and don't compare yourself with somebody else because they will not add an ounce of life or any day to your life. You just have to love yourself and know where you are and just work hard to sustain yourself in that current position that you're in. For guys, I think since Ben, you're representing guys now, even you personally,
how big of a factor is money in friendships?
Money in friendship. I think most of the guys, money is not that big of a problem.
Yeah.
But of course, kuna some of the problem.
Yeah.
Hiyo ya madeni, like someone has borrowed you and say niokolee bana 2K niko pali mbaya nitakurudishia. But since you are a friend, I can negotiate. There's a negotiate grace period.
Yeah.
So I think that affects most of the friendship. But you'll find most of us guys, like what made us friends is very different. It's like something solid. For example, gaming. We have gaming friends, those football friends and whatever. So our relationship is a bit hooked up. Like it's very difficult to let go because of money. But in a fika point, you have to let go. Because
I hear you. I think one of the big differences that come up when you're comparing guy friendships and girl friendships and money, and I don't know if you've seen memes or reels around this, is that guys will have one person foot the bill. They'll go have lunch and one guy decides, you know what, I've got it. If you find the girl is with their calculators.
Oh my God.
It's 32.5.
2.5, right? Like 2.5.
Oh my God.
I think that's one of the things that really come up. That's why I hear you when you say money may not be a big deal, aside from hiyo story ya kukopanado na bibi mse hajalipa or some complicated things like that. But when it comes to money, it's not even the you just call your boys up, come through, nini, and it's not the money is not an issue like that. You know, it's like almost obvious that mwenye ameitana maybe ndio atalipa. Hakunanga hizo complications za pesa. For girls, I think it can be that a bit complicated in that sense.
True. Standards. Yeah, it's almost like you have to meet a certain standard for you to actually thrive in a certain group. Yeah,
I hear you.
We're coming
I really do. I hope we get to. I admit that money changes dynamics in relationships, whether romantic, platonic, whether it does change.
Those friends who borrow money and just know
you have 5 minutes, address them.
Please don't usiombe tu pesa because and then for example if I have a debt with my friend, then I have another with a stranger or someone who is not my friend, I will prioritize paying the stranger's money than me.
Because we are friends. That's unfortunate.
I can negotiate the grace period. But that's not good. Just make the trust like rudisha tu ndo hadi the next time ukienda jamaa atajua this guy atanirudishia, so ata make at least pia effort pia kusaidia.
That's true. I love that you've addressed that because I think it's one of the biggest problems in friendships when you start and I mean if it's not alone, also just say I just want you to come through. Don't tell me refund. I don't know why we keep saying that.
They have the confidence to borrow again.
No. And that's damaging to friendships. That's really, really damaging. But when it comes to money, it's money is this factor that affects pretty much everything. You know? And you guys have to talk about it. It's okay to have a conversation of, you guys want us to go to Denny. Me, I'm sorry, but I cannot afford. If we are able to panga our monies in a way that accommodates you, fantastic. But if it means they'll have to go and you'll be left out, understand. You know, because sasa, now you know, it's not gonna be like, you can't go because I can't go. That's awkward. Like people will not do stuff or put together those baby showers and whatever because you can't. You know, that's a bit unfair. So I think creating room for people to be where they are in life and like allow them to just be there. You are in your thriving season. Great.
You thrive.
Fantastic. I love that for you. I will not feel bad about that. And I'm happy to have a conversation of, okay, I would really love to come, but my money is looking like this. You know, I think a lot of the drama in friendships would be saved if we sit and talk. Very honestly. Communicate. Si kwanza sasa kusema walini cut off juu sasa nimekuwa broke. No, you just probably didn't communicate. There would have probably been an arrangement that includes you as well. But wewe ndio uliji seclude and then now it's look like they cut me off. No. So I think any other tips that you would give to navigate friendships as we finish up?
Just be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself. Yeah, and it starts with you. Literally, the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
So do unto others what you want them to do unto you. The borrowers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
True.
When you think from that point, it changes everything, changes how you treat people, how you interact with people. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. According to me, start when making friends. Like those filter. Like pick a friend who will, for example, embrace your weakness. There are some people who maybe they are not their physical appearance or their financial status or their whatever. So when you're picking friends, pick at least that one who will embrace you, who will come through when you're down.
Yeah.
Then also like chemistry.
Yeah.
Chemistry is very important in friendship.
I hear you.
If in the first days of your friendship there's no chemistry, just know it's not going to last.
It can be difficult. You're right. You're right. Thank you. I think for me, be friends with people you like. Out here, y'all are with people you literally do not like, and you call them friends. Stop. Like, it's crazy that you find out that people who are besties or call themselves besties or
They're
whatever,
not actually
they don't
besties.
like
They hate each other, in
Please,
fact.
let's be friends with people we like. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for sticking with us here on People in the Room podcast. This podcast airs every Friday at 11 a.m. and a repeat is there on Saturdays at 3 p.m. It's been People in the Room. My name is Keriki Winnie.
DJ Ben.
And Maureen Juguna.
Have a great time. Keep it Pal Radio.
People in the Room on Pal Radio 96.9 FM every Friday at 11 a.m. and the repeat is on Saturday at 3 p.m. because we are all in this together. Pal Radio 96.9 FM, the home of fresh and classic hits.